Hello and welcome to a new video. This is the second part of the leveling tier list where we will show you, together with the mage Hilde, the best leveling classes in upcoming Classic Server Project Epoch. If we talk about best classes, what do we mean with this? Project Epoch will be a complete new experience to level up to level 60 with new dungeons and quests. Because of this, we don't want to focus on min-maxing level guides here. We will talk about the classes themselves and their changes and how this will affect solo leveling and dungeons. Since there are so many factors which define what makes a class good and bad, we won't go into every aspect of the classes. We won't talk about professions here, for example. Our categories are defining which makes a class good. And those are how effective are they on questing, how effective are they on parties and dungeons, and how fun are they to play while playing solo. So let's dive in. We talked a lot about the Shaman taking. Do we want to rank the Shaman if we already talked so much about it?
Well, we should actually finish the Shaman then and then do the rogues, the rogue after. Yeah. So since we already started.
What do you think about Shaman leveling?
I think the enhancement Shaman, especially once you open up for dual wielding and go that route when leveling. I remember once the pre-patch hit back in Classic, I was actually leveling a Shaman alt, and I was around level 30, I think. Was it 30? I think it was around level 30 or 35 or something in Stranglethorn Vale. It wasn't long until I got my two one-handed weapons. And not only in low levels, not only was I really strong in PvP because I was just running up to people one-shotting them, but I was also really killing mobs really fast with Wind Fury on both weapons. And they did something with, I think they did something with spell power for shamans, not only in the talents, but also in the Flame Tongue weapon thing. So they kept some of that from Wrath. I'm not sure about this.
It's true, that's true. They did this.
Okay,
they enabled the enhance the spell hand Shaman, which was a thing in Wrath of the Lich King.
Yeah.
And they can use their spell power on the offhand, Flame Tongue, and Wind Fury on the main hand. Yeah. And you can just go more into the spell power route. And that's also a really strong contender. I don't know if it's good for leveling. Maybe it is. I never tried it on leveling. I always leveled as a normal enhancement, dual wielding and stuff in TBC in 2021.
Because it's mainly your shocks, right? It's mainly your shocks that's your spell damage. It's not really... Then you have your Fire Nova totem, maybe your Magma totems, and the rest is mainly melee. You know, you got some healing. Of course, it's nice to have some spell damage, but I don't think it applies to healing. I think it only applies to spell damage.
Yeah.
No, wait.
It's your totems and your shocks, basically,
Well, the mental quickness talent, at least, I think it applies to healing as well. Increase your spell damage and healing by an amount equal to 10% of your attack power, and that goes up to 30% of your attack power. So it actually does affect... Some talents affect healing as well. But I do think the Flame Tongue is only that's only spell damage. That's not going to help you with your healing abilities. But really strong, I think, for leveling.
Yeah, sure. Also, a good point for Shaman for leveling is their Ghost Wolf, because you just travel faster than most other classes. Up from level 20 you get it, right? With your talents.
Exactly, yeah.
To be instant.
It'll be instant, because we're playing on TPC, so most likely it'll be instant.
Yeah, you need 2 talent points, right? In the enhancement tree to make it instant, I think,
so
but
20,
you at level 20. Yeah.
22, then you get it instant, right? Or am I wrong?
I think it's... Yeah, it's something about this. It doesn't matter.
No, you're right. You can get... You're right. At level 15 already, you get the 2 points in improve. So as soon as you get the Ghost Wolf at level 20, you have it instant.
Yeah. Which is really good. You have not much downtime with your water shield. You have constantly mana, and you can also move your totems on Project Epoch, right? So you have a button to just reapply them, and this is also really great for shamans.
Oh, they do. Nice. I didn't even know that. They can move the totems like in Season of Discovery?
And in Wrath of the Lich King, I think they introduced this for the first time.
Only thing I see is Totemic Recall.
But you can also do your totem sets, if I remember correctly.
That is true, but I'm not sure you can move them.
Yeah, so you just remove them with the
true, that way.
Yeah, then you just put your new set down, but you don't have to manually press all 4 totems again. So yeah, you're right, but it's basically the same.
Okay.
So you get your money back from removing them, and you put the new on your new place, all 4.
Yeah, it is. It works just differently. In Season of Discovery, one of the great things they implemented there was that, say you put down a Earth Grasp totem. What's it called? Is it Earth Grasp totem? The slow totem.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, the Earthbind totem.
Earthbind totem, and then you use you can move it way ahead of you. So say something, someone is trying to get away from you, and you want to slow him, but your shocks is on cooldown. Well, then you just place your Earthbind totem, and then you move it forward a couple of yards, and then you catch him in the Earthbind totem. Yep. I remember I used that a lot in Season of Discovery, as well as just moving your grounding totem around, or for that matter, your Fire Nova totem. So you would be sure that the enemy was always affected by a Fire Nova, or you were always affected by your grounding totem.
Yeah.
So a little bit different. So there was some really nice things about that, but it's still great to be able to remove your totems. Just
yeah, for sure.
Especially in dungeons and raids, so they don't pull, and you don't have to press every totem through to replace it.
Yeah, and it's also more mana efficient.
Yeah.
So it's not possible to level as an Elemental Shaman on Project Epoch, right?
Well, it is likely possible. The question is not that it's not. I think they've done a lot to, increase the viability of Elemental Shaman, but I don't think it's probably not as effective when it comes to speed or mob killing. Than Enhancement is. But if you choose to level as Elemental, which I do recommend even if you want to be a healer, because it's not, you don't really get much in the early levels in Resto. You have to wait until the really late levels, until you open up for something like Mana Tide or Earth Shield for that matter. That's late. Or only like Nature Swiftness, which is great. And of course the reduced pushback from healing, the healing focus talent. But the rest, I'd say, if you want to be a healer, might as well just go into Elemental. Then you'll have an easier time leveling, and you can still easily join groups, especially at the lower levels, and just heal perfectly fine.
I mean, if you want to level as an Elemental Shaman, of course you can do it, but I think you have a lot of downtime. It's really slow in my opinion. And if you talk about dungeons like you did, I mean, you can also get a dungeon spot as an Enhancement Shaman because everyone wants your Wind Fury, right? So you will always have a spot there.
You can still give Wind Fury even whatever respect you wish as a Shaman. True. But of course you have the improvement. You can give the improvement for Wind Fury as enhancement.
So where do we put the Shaman class? I think it's fast. I think it's efficient. I think it has self-healing and can kite. It has everything it needs. That's an A class for me.
Me too. It's definitely on par with the priest. If
better
not
than the priest, in my opinion. Yeah,
better than the priest. I say it's better than the priest. Yeah. But I
wouldn't want to order it, so you do it on the left. So left is better, more plus, and right side of the tier list is more minus. Yeah.
Let's do that. What about Mage and Paladin?
Yeah, you can put the Mage before the Paladin. In my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. Something like this.
All right, great.
All right. Anything else we need to say about the Shaman?
I don't think so.
They're good at dungeoning, they're good at solo questing, they're good at group content.
They're good at everything, to be honest. But they don't have a pet.
They don't have the pet, no. That's reserved for the hunter. All right, then moving on to Rogue. What did the Rogue get?
Access, right? They can use access.
They can use access now. That's gonna make it easier in the early levels. You open up for many different weapon progression opportunities.
But to be honest, the rogues didn't get much, right?
No, I think later on, I think you'll still be leveling as combat for the first many levels until...
Yeah, makes sense.
Until you open up for what's it called? Mutilate.
Okay.
I think...
So you level with daggers then?
Well, I'm not sure about this, but when you read Mutilate, the updated Mutilate, I can't see anywhere where it says it requires daggers. Another thing they changed, I don't think it requires you to be behind the mob or the target anymore. So in TPC,
really?
You had to be both behind the target and you had to be wielding daggers. But in Wrath of the Lich King, they changed that. So that you have to use daggers, and you didn't have to, as far as I remember at least. Or was it that later on? I can't remember if that was later on. But I do know for sure that it didn't require you to stand behind the target anymore. They also made some changes to vigor, so you're getting not only 10 more energy, but 20 more energy, and you're getting 10% more energy regeneration. However much that is, it still counts for something, I think.
What is interesting is with the 3.3.5 client, you don't have the old energy system, right? You don't have the ticks. You now have the constant energy flow in it, right?
Yeah, it should be constant flow, yeah. Which
That's
will
better
make
for
it.
rogues for sure.
It is better for rogues, especially when you talk about increased energy regeneration rates from talents like vigor, because that you're gonna feel that more. Not so much when it comes in ticks, but when it comes as like constant progressive, then you're gonna feel it much more.
Yeah.
I think an option, if I may, an option for leveling is assassination once you hit level 44.
Why?
I think because that not only have they changed some of the talents in here, Mutilate has gotten a lot better, where it was only striking from behind before. You couldn't really do that because the mob, once you start hitting it, it'll just turn and you can't get on its back if it's just a regular mob. So you can't really level as Mutilate in TBC. But you can do that in Project Epoch, because even though the mob is facing you, you'll still be able to mutilate it. And if what I suspect is true, that it's not only daggers, it's also slower weapons, then Mutilate will hit for a lot more when you use it, but cost the same energy as it would with daggers. If that is true.
If that is true, then that would be really broken, because the modifier of Mutilate is really, really high, right?
Yeah, I don't know if it's normalized. It could be normalized in here.
Okay.
Meaning that
would make sense.
Yeah, at least it would. I think they'd have to, or else the daggers would just be way too weak, and you would never go daggers as a rogue unless you want to go ambush and backstab. But I think that they'd have to normalize Mutilate so that even like 2.2 or something, so that even if you choose daggers, it's not such a big deal. But who knows?
You lack AoE in this tree, right? Because in Combat Tree you have Blade Fury and stuff like this, and you don't have Fan of Knives as a rogue on Epoch, right?
No, I don't think so, no. So you're single targeting, you're doing a lot of damage, you're sneaking around. Will you be able to solo stuff? Maybe, like if it's groups of mobs and you can zap one target, you can blind the other, and then you can kill one, and then you can vanish. You can do quests quite easily because of you having stealth, so you can get into quest areas, maybe even elite quest areas, kill one mob or pick up one quest item and then get out of there without having to actually clear through the entire place. So that is some advantage for rogues. But that's just it, I think. You know, they don't have any healing or no tanking ability like in Season of Discovery.
I mean, what's also interesting is the fact how stealth will work on Project Epoch. Because I played on private servers where stealth was completely broken and the mobs were never able to see you. And I was playing on private servers where everything took you out of stealth before. So this will be interesting, and this will make or break the rogue class for leveling, in my opinion, how good it will be on Project Epoch.
Yeah, especially in PvP.
Yeah, and also on leveling, because as you said, you want, and sometimes you just want to go in a cave, kill the named mob and stealth out and save a lot of time with this. But if everything breaks your stealth, then you can't do that.
Of course. But I think for PvE, there's always the thing like the mob turns towards you just before he breaks stealth, and then you know, oh, okay, he can see me now, I shouldn't go any closer, or I should distract him, make him look the other way, and then I can pass him, and then you just wait for your distracting, even if it's a little bit weaker than it is normally. But in PvP you don't get that opportunity, then you'll just be forced out of. Maybe it really depends on how broken you mean, because I haven't played on private servers where it's been completely broken. I couldn't imagine that that's the case here on Epoch.
Yeah, same. I think the quality of Project Epoch is really high, so they coded it probably right, and it will be normalized. It will be the same as TBC, I guess.
At least close enough, I think, for that not being an issue in leveling.
Yeah. I think so too.
But we have to know that when we're on a RAF client, then you have these mobs with the eye above them. So there could be implementation to make sure that some areas are kind of stealth restricted. Like developers want you to go through an area normally, and the mobs will just spot you because they have the eye thing over their head. So they're supposed to stop rogues from I wouldn't say exploiting, but game mechanics and stuff.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, would be a good implementation. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So where do we place the rogue?
Somewhere between B and C tier when it comes to just like they don't have any real advantages when it comes to groups. They can't conjure food, they can't provide the group with any buffs or anything, but they do have strong damage, very strong damage.
Yeah, I agree.
And it have
tier.
Yeah, I think we have to wait and see how strong they are when it comes to assassination, if that is viable as a leveling build, if it's even stronger than combat. But somewhere around B tier, we can always adjust once we get further on. I think there are some things we need to move down, but we'll see. We'll take that discussion later.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but I'm cool with that for sure. I mean, also, before you get Vanish as a rogue, you die often if you're not careful.
Yeah, you can't really over aggro too many mobs in the beginning. You need at least to have your evasion up, and that's gonna help a lot later on. Once you get Vanish, you have your get out of jail card all the time, and Blade Fury will help you when cleaving mobs in combat, in the combat tree.
Exactly.
Yes. I think that's it for now for Rogue. What do you think about Warlock?
You mean the hero class?
Blizzard's favorite.
In my opinion, Warlock is the absolute S+ tier. They made so many cool changes for this class. They were strong before on normal TBC. They were strong on vanilla, and in Project Epoch they are just broken in my opinion. You have the curses and the banes now, so you have even more debuffs than before.
Yeah.
Your debuff slots are higher, and they adjusted the talents for your health siphon and for your soul siphon. So the more debuffs you have on the target, the more damage you do. You also have an execute now, so you are constantly damaging mobs. You have zero downtime. You have your pets, which is tanking for you. You have constant damage, a lot of damage, and you have constant healing through this. This is so insane. If you level as an Affliction Warlock, you can level all day. You don't have to stop. It's so broken in my opinion. And then you can do dungeons with what is it called? The Seed of Destruction, or what is this spell called?
Unstable Affliction.
No, the AoE.
Oh,
the Demon Seeds thingy.
Yeah. Is that baseline? Is that a...
Yeah, it's baseline. It's baseline. Oh. You can put your points into Affliction and you make it even stronger. They nerfed it a little bit compared to Burning Crusade because it was just too strong.
Okay.
But at least they nerfed that. Into... Yeah, but only if you don't go into the Affliction tree, then it's nerfed. If you play into the Affliction tree, you get the power back, and then you have a leveled monster, basically. You are unstoppable. You can do AoE damage in groups, insane AoE damage. You can do insane solo content. You have your pet, you have your health stones, you have all the utility you bring as a Warlock. This class is just insane. It's just way too strong, in my opinion.
I see. But what about, what spec would be the go-to for leveling? Isn't it Demonology?
I would level as an Affliction Warlock, at least until level 44, when you get your
Felguard?
Your big demon, your Felguard, exactly, yeah. Maybe you can change at level 44 to Demonology, but before I would level as an Affliction Warlock. I think it's just too good to pass.
I see. But once you get access to your Felguard, and then I see, have they buffed that as well?
I think so, yeah. I think the Felguard is also buffed. The Demonology tree is really interesting on Project Epoch. They adjusted a lot of stuff there. I haven't looked so much into it yet. I only saw the Affliction tree.
You think you can tank with the Felguard, like dungeons?
I can't answer you that at the moment.
Okay.
Not sure. I don't know it yet. That's something we have to see.
It really depends on if they have taunt or some AoE threats, and if they can actually keep the pet alive, because that's another thing. It's fine that it's tanky and stuff, but if you can't, well, of course you have a healer with you in a dungeon, but if you want to solo stuff like hunters can do, then you have to have a strong ability to give your pet health back, which I think...
I mean, you can always health funnel, right? This is a thing.
Yeah, but that's a channel. So you can't do... Well, you can put the dots on the target and then you can health funnel. So,
of course. That's how you level as a Warlock anyway with your Void Walker normally. So you have zero downtime on Vanilla WoW, basically. And here you have a Void Walker which can create threat. So it won't lose threat to you. So you don't have to use the fight that I want to say with this. And you are insanely strong. You have CC, you have damage, you have debuffs, you have everything you need to solo everything in the game. There's nothing you can't do as a Warlock. And you get a free mount at level 40.
That's true, yeah. You get the... You're not very fast in the beginning, but once you reach level 40, that's the same as the Paladin, you get a free mount.
Yeah. To be honest, for me, the Warlock is even higher than the Hunter. It's S+ for leveling. It's the best class for leveling in the game, in my opinion, on Project Epoch. Even on the left side of the Hunter, for me.
Really?
Yeah.
You'll put him above the Hunter?
Yeah.
Is that because of all the damage he does? Like, do you think he does more damage, like soloing monsters or creeps in the world?
You can solo everything you want in the world. There's nothing which can stop a Warlock, for sure. With all the CC and damage and debuff you have, probably better than a Hunter.
Really? But what pet would you use for soloing? Like, how would you go about?
The Void Walker. I would use the Void Walker, go Affliction. You have to see if the Falcard is stronger at level 44, as I said. Maybe it is. We have to see with the changes of Demonology. Maybe then it's even stronger. But for the beginning, up to level 40, you use the Void Walker and nothing can stop you.
I see. I kind of think I disagree with you. I think that when it comes to soloing stuff, the Hunter has the advantage, especially because you can keep your pet healed while you also do all your complete rotation damage. Like, because the healing is a hot now.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you funnel health, right? Is it you sacrificing health or are you sacrificing your mana?
You sacrifice your health, but you will get it back at the same time with your dot you do on the target and with the Drain Life, which is also increased damage on Project Epoch with a few talent points. Normally you have to put 5 points into it. Here it's only 2. And this is so strong on paper. I see. You can probably all the time...
But what about the pet? Like, the Void Walker isn't that strong. Like, it doesn't hit so hard.
But it has better threat here. It has better threat here. So you won't lose the threat. Normally on Vanilla WoW, you pull with your Void Walker them up. You do your Corruption, you do your Curse, you start Health Drain, and then you get aggro. But on TBC they changed this a bit, and I think they also changed this in Project Epoch. So the Warlock class is way stronger here. You can level non-stop with this, because as long as your Void Walker is tanking, you never lose health because you get it all the time back.
But do you think you can tank in dungeons with the Void Walker?
No, I don't think you can tank in dungeons. I don't think so. But it's a DPS class. It's not a tank class, but it's a really strong DPS class.
But that's where my argument comes in. I think you can tank as a Hunter. I think you can tank dungeons.
Yeah, but can you port other people's as a Hunter? Can you give other people's health stones as a Hunter?
No, but I don't value that as much. When it comes to, leveling, I think I value being able to get into dungeons more than giving buffs. In overall sense, I think for me personally, I'd probably go like this: that the Hunter first and then the Warlock. But I do agree with you that the Warlock is quite strong.
One more point. You said you want to get into dungeons. Which class helps you to bring everyone to the dungeon through a summoning portal? Everyone who is lacking.
Yeah, that one I just forgot about. Yeah, actually, that's a really, really good point. Like summoning, does summoning stones work on Epoch?
I'm not sure about that. I think you need 2 people or something like this. Maybe I can't answer you that right now. If they are working, you don't need a summoning from Warlocks. I give you that point, but I'm not sure if they are working.
Me neither. But that is a very, very nice boon to have as having a Warlock in your group. How many people do you need to summon? Like 2?
2. Okay. 2 other people.
Oh, 2 other people. So 3 people in total.
Yeah, the Warlock and 2 other people.
Okay, so you still 3 people need to get to the dungeon still.
Exactly. No. Not all the time, because this server has a lot of hype and you will always have people in front of dungeons at the beginning, so you can just invite 2 people and just start porting 2 people and then you swap groups and
of course. Yeah,
it's faster.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, maybe not. I'm torn between this. I still don't think I agree completely with you, but
that's fine.
For now, let's leave it up there.
Yeah.
and move on to our dear warriors. How do you think? I haven't never leveled a war, never even played a warrior. It's too basic for me.
Yeah. Same for me. I also never played as a warrior, but I read a bit into them. And a cool thing about Warrior and Project Epoch is the fact that you get Victory Rush. So your biggest weakness as a warrior is that you have to eat all the time after every mob, because you have no self-healing, you have nothing which supports you on leveling. But with this spell, you get health back every time you kill something. And it depends on how strong this is on Project Epoch, but on other iterations of World of Warcraft, this helps warriors a lot on leveling. So they can just kill something, charge the next thing, kill something, charge the next thing, and they get this hot, which is all the time up, basically. So this is helping the warrior, because without this class would be a D.
But there's a big thing here we need to make sure. Does it actually heal you?
Yeah, it should, as far as I read.
Instantly attack the target, causing damage. Can only be used within 20 seconds after you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor. Damage is based on your attack power. It doesn't say anything about healing.
No, it heals you. That's the whole thing about Victory Rush normally. So you kill something and then you get a hot after it. It wouldn't be something useful they would get if it wouldn't be the case.
I think Mossy covered this in one of his class videos, but I heard that it doesn't give you health back.
Really?
But
what's the point of it?
And should give you a little easier chain killing potential if you stay healthy. I don't think they've implemented the thing where it heals you.
Okay. Yeah, I also read into the spellbook right now, and it also doesn't say something about healing there. So it's basically a non-cost ability to increase your rage, right? Yeah, it's horrible in leveling. Okay, but then...
I think so. So maybe, I don't know. It's not, they've opened up for Slam, I think, as well as a viable leveling build. And not only for leveling, but also for raiding.
A Slam build.
Yeah, maybe that would help a lot, but I don't really see you. Well, they are tanks, right? So they can easily get into dungeons. That's a big...
Yeah.
But they are the de facto tanks. So they're not D tier in my opinion, just because of the fact if we consider dungeoneering, not only solo questing and leveling, but also dungeoneering into the equation, then I think it at least brings them up to a C tier, if not at least on par with the Paladin. They do kill mobs faster.
Paladins have better dungeon tanks, and also so Druids are also better dungeon tanks than Warriors. Warrior tanking is better in raiding, but before that, they are the worst tanks of all. So they are good tanks, of course, but they have less AoE damage. They have... Yeah, that's basically it. They have less damage, so you always want a Paladin and a Druid before you want a Warrior, in my opinion, in a dungeon group. But you always want a tank, so the fact that they can tank makes them, of course, good.
Yeah. Yeah, it actually... You know, I think they'll probably be killing mobs faster than a Paladin, don't you think?
But they have
Paladin just auto-attacking, and Warriors has some more abilities to... They do have more downtime.
Yeah, but they have to eat after it. They have to sit down after every mob if they play alone.
That is true. That is true.
For me, it's a C, and only a C because they can tank. Otherwise, they would be a D or leveling.
Well, then we put them in C for now. I think, in my opinion, like I value the ability to tank if we consider that as a big aspect of having fun and being able to get into dungeons easily as a big thing when it comes to leveling. If we consider that, I'll increase them. But if not, I'll agree with you that they are C tier.
I give them one more good point. As soon as they get their big weapon, their Whirlwind Axe, and as soon as they hit level 44, they get Bladestorm. So as an arms warrior, they have really high AoE damage for dungeon farming. That's a good point for them. Give them a Shaman on the side and a Retribution Paladin or something like this, and you have a good solo, good dungeon group.
Yeah, maybe you can even, if you have some cooldowns ready, you can AoE grind some mobs with Bladestorm. Would that be a possibility, do you think?
Maybe, yeah. I think so. With your cooldowns, you have a lot of damage as a warrior for sure.
Yeah, and you have maybe some defensive cooldowns as well that will help you stay alive if you, like, say you pulled 5, 6 mobs or something, 7, maybe even 10 mobs. Could you possibly AoE them all down together with the Blade Storm plus sweeping strikes plus, you know, retaliation or something defensive that thing?
Maybe. I also don't know much about them. All I know is that if you give them a pocket healer, so if you have a friend who plays heal and you want to level with your friend together, then this class would probably be S tier together in a group with a healer. But alone and with all the facts we talked about, it's C tier in my opinion.
Okay. Well, then we have just the Druid left.
One last but not least, the Druid. Also a lot of changes for this class, which is really, really cool. They now scale with weapons because of their feral attack power talent, a new stat which they introduced on Project Epoch. So you can get weapons on your way through 60, and this will increase your damage, which is really, really good because damage of feral druids is really high while leveling.
Yep, and I heard that they now can use the weapon procs. So if a weapon has a proc on it, like a stun or something, it also applies, as well as you can use a wider range of consumables while you are still...
While shapeshifted.
Shapeshifted,
Yeah, you can also use polearms now as a druid, which is also new, so a new kind of weapon which you can use. And I leveled as a druid in Season of Discovery. I also leveled in original TBC a bit of druid because I always liked those hybrid classes. And they feel really good while leveling. You have basically 0 downtime. You have stealth, you have a lot of damage, and you can heal yourself. It's really, really strong. And another cool change on Project Epoch is the fact that you no longer need the wolf's head helm. So this was your Biz helm for all the game, basically, which you crafted, and they changed it. So the effect of the wolf's head helm is now in the Furor talent, which is your first talent from the restoration tree.
Oh, it's the first one.
That's really, really good.
Yeah, that's really strong.
It's 5 points you need to put into it. You would have taken this talent anyway for power shifting, and with this new adjusted version of it, you can power shift as soon as you get your cat form. And that's really, really strong because you can do a lot of damage with this early on now. And this makes them a strong class to level, in my opinion, because you can also nearly solo everything alone if you want to, because of your healing, because of your kiting abilities, because of your stealth and your big damage. And also, you are just really flexible. You also have your travel form, you have your cat form with increased movement speed if you talent into it, so you are fast. All these changes you already talked about with the consumables and pots, this is even more mana efficient than before, so absolutely great class to level in my opinion. And for dungeons, you can tank, of course, as a bear.
And it's quite easy because it's the same as feral gear, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So you don't even need to, think about a shield or think about having some specific tanking items. You can pretty much just focus on stamina while you're leveling, and you'll have way enough armor and health and everything to be a beefy tank as well.
Exactly.
And not only that, they also got Revive already at an early level. I think at level 12 they get Revive. So you're not gimping yourself bringing a healing druid into your group and not being able to resurrect your teammates anymore. They can now resurrect your teammates just like any other healer.
Yeah. Which is just a good quality of life upgrade, because why shouldn't they be able to rest before? Made no sense at all.
Yeah, they also get some AoE healing. I can see already at level 18. I'm just looking on my other monitor here. Overgrowth is a spell that puts a rejuvenation on all your target's party members.
Oh, that's new and cool. Yeah?
That is very, very effective for AoE healing, as well as they've also done some updates to Tranquility, I think. But I do not know much about Druid. I wish that Epoch on their webpage would actually go into some detail, because they have these abilities and then they under the ability sets updated, but we don't really know what's been updated necessarily, unless you're really in the know of a specific class, then you can probably see it. But if you don't know about the class already, then I think they should have added something under the updated spells to show what actually has been updated. But that's a topic for another time. I digress.
I mean, you wouldn't level as a boomkin, right? We would only level as a feral druid because it's the most useful thing and it makes the most sense, right? It's also really fun to play.
Yeah.
So where would you put the druid?
I'd say S tier up, very close to to the hunter. I think even I'd probably put him above the hunter because he's an official tank. And just having that ability to both heal and heal, you can tank. You're a really strong tank. You have the ability to solo everything. You get movement speed really early on, just as fast as you get with the, I think, the hunter, right? Or is it a little bit later? A hunter get aspect of the cheetah at level 20. When does
you
Druid
get cat form as Druid as with level 20, which is not the fastest way you can travel. Travel form is the fastest way you can travel with level 30, but it's a faster way than just walking normal.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know. I put him up against the Warlock, not because of him being as strong as a Warlock or a Hunter, but just because he has the opportunity to get into every single group as a DPSer, as a healer, or as a tank. I valued the tanking ability quite high when it comes to leveling as a way of getting into groups fast and easy.
Okay, I understand your point. I would put the Druid on A+ or S-, because I think the pet classes are just stronger solo. But with this aspect of being able to fulfill every role with all the other strong aspects this class has, we can put them on this position on the S class. Yeah, I agree with you then. Alright, thank you so much for watching. We will upload 2 more tier lists, one for only solo efficiency and one for overall efficiency. But for now, on this point, I thank you very much for watching, and if you found this useful, consider to like and subscribe at Shielde and my channel as well for more World of Warcraft Project Epoch content.